This video is particularly for a beginner that is learning how to sew. So I've really simplified it to show you how you can make your trouser pattern. This is for trousers that you can wear with your suit, just like this lady here. The very first thing you're going to need, really, is your measurements. And I have divided these measurements and tabulated it on how you're going to prepare the measurements, so that when we get to the transferring the measurements to our pattern, there will be no confusion. So get a sheet of paper and do exactly what you see here. Write down all the measurements you're going to take. Write down your own measurements, the ease we are going to use for each measurement, how we are going to divide it, and of course the final measurements we are going to use to create the pattern. For instance, your waist circumference, this is your waist circumference. Take your waist circumference. Mine is 98. Add an ease of 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch in case you're using inches tape. And then when you do that, you now divide the total by 4. And this is what I got. I got 24. And to this 24, I added 2.5. That is for the darts we are going to take at the waist of the trouser. Your high hips is normally 3 inches below your waist. This is your high hips. So you take this, whatever you get around this, your high hip, you add 2.5 plus, then divide it by 4, and you get your final measurement. You do the same thing that I've done with all the measurements. Just look at the illustrations to show you the measurements that you're supposed to take. Now, when you come to your, I think it's your knee width, you don't measure it at exactly your knees. You measure it about 1 inch above your knee point, about 1 inch above your knee point. That is where you're going to measure the circumference of your knee width on one leg, on one roundabout around here. And once you have that measurement, you add 2 centimeters of ease and then divide everything by 2. This ease is not your sewing seam allowance, it's different. This is just to allow you for flow, for the trouser to fit well in your body or your body shape. So once you've done that and you've gotten all these final measurements, now your crotch depth, I'm going to show it to you in the next slide, how to measure your crotch depth and how to measure your crotch length. So that's exactly what I'm going to show to you in the next slide. This is how to measure your crotch depth. Just sit down on a flat stool and then take your tape from your waist to the stool. That is your crotch depth. And then your crotch length is to measure right from your navel to the base of your waist at the back. That is your crotch length. You could also use this diagram to actually measure, see where to do all your measurements for the trouser. It's also important. The curve, if you want to do it, is okay, but I'm not going to be using it. So these are all the measurements that we are going to be using to create our trouser pattern. So let's go straight to our board and put all these measurements on our pattern paper. So these are the things we are going to need to create our female trouser pant. Of course, you're going to need your measurement sheet written out, as I showed you previously. We need our curved rulers. We need our French curve also. We need our straight rulers. And we need our curved ruler to curve for the hip curve for the trouser. We need our tracer to trace the front pattern on another pattern paper. We need our markers, different colors, and of course we need our scissors. And you need 2 pattern papers. I've prepared 2 pattern papers The length of the pattern paper should be the length of your full trouser plus 10 cm. For instance, my full trouser length is 106 that I'm going to take. So I'll add 10 cm. So from the beginning to the end of this pattern paper is 116 cm. And the width is going to be your full hip measurement circumference divided by 4 plus 10 cm. Full hip divided by 4 plus 10 cm. So that it will give you space to work with it. So that's the size of this pattern paper. So now let's go straight and start our drafting. So we're starting with the front pattern of the trouser. As you can see, I've drawn my necessary lines that you need. This is the starting point. This is my waist line. This is my waist upper hip line. This is my waist to the widest part of my hip line. This is from my waist to crotch line. This, of course, is my waist to knee line. Remember when we were talking about the measurement, my full waist to knee is right here. But I removed 5 centimeters upwards because I'm quite tall. If you're not tall, when you have your full waist to knee measurement, you remove about 2.5 centimeters. That's about 1 inch. But for me, I'm quite tall. So I removed 2 inches, which is 5 centimeters. And of course, I have my waist to my ankle length right there. And of course, I have the seam for the trouser right there. So those are all the lines that you need to be able to start. So once all your lines are set, let us now begin to mark the measurements for the waist, for the hips, and then shape the trouser. So we are going to be using our measurement chart. Remember your measurement chart where you've written all your measurements up to all the final measurements you are going to be using. The very first thing we are going to do, I'm going to mark the hip measurement right there. As long as you have your chart, just follow your chart according to your own measurements. This was my final hip measurement, and that I'm going to mark on the hip line, the crotch line, and the waist line. So I'm going to mark, this is my widest part of my hip. I'm going to mark 32 right there. Higher hip line, 32 again. And of course, my waistline of 132. Once we've gotten our 32, 32, 32, 32, we draw a straight line. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to shape the waist. And my waist measurement, I have my final waist measurement here is 24 cm plus 2.5. That is for the dart. 2.5 is 1 inch. That is for the dart. That will give me 26.5. And I'm going to measure 26.5 from this line towards this side. So I'll measure 26.5 on the waist line, right there. And I have, I think, the same thing here on the upper hip line. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to shape from the waist down to meet up with the hip line. And I'm going to use my hip curve ruler to shape it. So now let's get our crotch curve. To get the crotch curve, remember your hip line. This is my hip line, and my hip line is 32. So this 32, I'm going to divide it by 4. Now divide mine by 4. I have 8 centimeters, and that 8 centimeters I'm going to draw from this line. Hope you're seeing me. From this line to add the 8 centimeters. And then on the hip line, I'm going to make a mark of about 1.5 centimeters. 1.5 centimeters, or about 0.5 inches. 1.5. And then on the cross line, I am going to draw a diagonal of 4 centimeters. Just look at the way I place my ruler. Diagonally, 4 meters. I'll just make a dot there. Four centimeters. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to form my crotch. I'm going to curve it using my curve ruler like so, up to here. So now we've gotten the curve of the front. This is the front pattern. Now we are going to be shaping the leg of our trouser. The very first thing you need to do is to measure your cross length. This is my cross line, remember? And my cross line is 41 centimeters. 41 centimeters. At this cross line, you're going to find the center part. For me, the center is 20.5 cm. And I'm going to mark the 20.5 cm line. I'll mark it on the cross line. I will mark it on the thigh line. Your thigh is about 7.5 centimeters below your cross line. I didn't mention it. 7.5 centimeters below your cross line, or 3 inches below your cross line. So on this line, I'm also going to mark the center. That is 20.5. And on the knee line, I'm also going to mark the same 20.5. Then I'm going to draw a line at that center point from the waist down to the ankle. So my center line is ready. I've drawn it, see, from the waist right down to the end of the trouser length. So it is on this center line that we are going to be using as an anchor point to be able to shape our trouser. So I'm going to start first with my thigh line. And my thigh circumference is 64 plus 2.5 is divided by 2, and that is 33. So I'm going to get 33 on my tape, 33 centimeters on my tape. I'll get 33 centimeters on my tape, and I'll just fold it like so. Then this center place, I'm going to place it on the center line where I have my thigh line. This is my thigh line. So I'm going to place it like so. Place it on my thigh line and then mark it Hope you've seen what I've done. And that's exactly what I'm going to do for the knee line and of course the ankle, so that we can now shape our trouser. I've marked all the points, the thigh line, the knee line, and of course the ankle. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to be joining all my points to curve the trouser, and I'm going to be using my curve ruler. So I'm going to curve it from the hip and join it up to the knee line to get my curve. And do the same thing for underneath. I will join all the dots. Hope you're seeing what I'm doing. So I'm going to draw a straight line up to the ankle, where I also have the measurement of my ankle circumference divided by 2. Essentially, you can see the trouser has taken shape. That's the trouser. I've shaped it down to the ankle. It has been shaped, as you can see. That is the full trouser length. Now, at this bottom, remember that my trouser, this is exactly my trouser length. This is the end of my trouser length. This is the seam allowance. So what we'll do, you will not draw it straight. You will just fold it at the end here, inwards. You fold it like so. And then we'll use a tracing wheel and just trace this a little bit, just to make a mark for where we are going to draw. Like so. And then turn it over. Then use your ruler and follow the tracing mark. And just draw it to join the end of the same line. So that is how you're going to fold the bottom of your trouser to meet your lining. You're going to be lining the trouser. That's exactly how it's going to be. As you can see, it's not exactly straight. What we're going to do next is to put our darts for the trouser. Remember that we added 2.5 cm for the dart at the waist, and that's exactly what we're going to be removing here. So I'm going to remove 1.25 cm from one side and 1.25 cm from one side. And my dart length is going to be about 2.5, 2.5. That is 5. It's going to be about 14 centimeters long. That's about 5 inches long. So I put in my darts. As you can see, that's the darts for the front trouser, and the front trouser is ready. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to trace this front trouser using my tracing wheel onto another pattern paper, so that we can start with the back part of the trouser. If you have any challenge, just listen to the video once again. I think I'm being as slow as I can. I think it's quite simple. So once you listen to it once again, you follow it. Let's now trace this and then start with the back part of the trouser. So I've transferred the front trouser pattern onto another pattern paper, and you can see I've transferred all the lines: the waistline, the higher hip line, the hip line, the crotch line, the thigh line, and of course the knee line. What you're going to do now straight away is to form the curve for the back trouser. And to do that, First, you find the center. Between the center of this this grain line, and of course, this is our curve, this line. And the center for me is 6, because it's 12 here. From here to here, it's 12 cm. So I'm going to mark 6 cm right there. Okay? Then I'm going to add 2 cm at the crotch part of the front. I'll add 2 cm, 5 centimeters rather. 5 centimeters, that is 2 inches. So I'm going to curve it down to 2 inches, draw it like so. And then at that point, I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. At that point, I'll come down by 1.3 cm. That's about half an inch. Good. Now, remember the center point we made here? Not the center point we made here. We are going to extend this center point according to the equivalence of this length of the curve of the crotch of the front trouser. And for me, my length is 8 centimeters. So I'm going to bring that 8 centimeters right here. So I'll draw line my 8 centimeters and I'll mark it right there. And then to get this curve, the back curve, this back curve, I'm going to do just like we did for the front. I'm going to measure out 5 centimeters from this point upwards. I get 5 centimeters out and I'll mark it. So I'm now going to curve the back crotch from that point here, right here, curve it to this point, then curve it up to this point. So that's the curve. That's the curve. I use the red marker to show you the curve, how I've joined all the dots together to get my back curve. Now I'm going to draw my waist for the back. Remember, my waist line was 26 cm, and I'm just going to place my ruler and draw my 26 cm right from that dot up there down to the waistline. Now that I've done with the waistline, the next thing is to establish the curve for the back part of the trouser. What I'm going to do, I'm going to be taking 2.5 centimeters from the higher hip line, 2.5 from the hip line, 2.5 centimeters from the crotch line, 2.5 centimeters from the thigh line, and of course 2.5 centimeters from the knee line, and 2.5 centimeters from the ankle line. I'll do the same thing on this side. So I'll quickly do that and then I'll join all the dots so that we get our curve. So once you're done with marking all round, we'll now draw the curve just like we did for the front trouser. As you can see, I've joined 2.5 centimeters all round, and I've joined all the dots together. This is what it looks like now. Your trouser should be looking like this, your pattern now. So the next thing is to do the darts for the back. We are going to measure the line here. It's 26, that's my waistline for the back, and then find the center. For me, the center is 13, and then draw a line parallel to this line, 13, and that is where we're going to do our dart. Remember, my dart is 2.5 centimeters, so I'm going to take 1.25 in between. 1.25, 1.25, and I'm going to mark it right here. And that is going to be my dart for the back part. And I'm going to take, the length of my dart is about 13 centimeters. Normally take between 12 and 14, but I'll take 13. I took 13 for the front, and I also take 13 for the back. So I'm going to form my darts. I will just draw my lines like so. And that is the back part of our trouser. I don't normally put seam allowance on my patterns. What I do the seam when I'm cutting the dress. I just mark my seam allowance on the dress, and then I cut it directly. So the back pattern is ready. I have labeled it. I always remind you, label your patterns, written my name, and I've written as the back pattern for my trouser. I'll go ahead and cut it out, and also cut out the front pattern of the trouser. And the next thing we'll do is to do the band for the trouser, and of course the zip flap. So right now we are back with the front pattern of our trouser, and we're going to be creating the zipper fly. That is quite easy to do. All you have to do is to measure about 4.5 or 5 centimeters of your tape at this, your waist point. And then come down to where the curve starts. This particular place where the curve starts, measure the same 5 or 4.5. It depends on the one you're using. Measure that. And then you use your ruler and just draw the 2 points to meet together. As I said, it's quite easy to do. Join your 2 points together. And then from here, just curve it. You can do a hand curve, just curve it to meet that point. Or you can use your curved ruler if you want, but the hand curve for me is okay. So that is your zipper fly. It's quite easy to do, as I said before. Now, I have also cut out my waistband. For your waistband, I just cut about 5 centimeters width, and the length is your waist length plus an extra 5 centimeters. This is to make up for the allowance that you will put either your hook or your buttons. So that's it with the band. That's your zipper fly, and that is your band. And so guys, our patterns are ready. That is the front part of the trouser pattern. That's the front part. And this here is the band for the waist. And then you have the back part of our trouser pattern. With this, I have come to the end of this video, and I hope that your pattern turned out as beautiful looking as mine. If you have any challenge, just watch the video several times, or you could drop me a question in the comment section, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Until my next video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to insert your two-piece sleeve into your suit or your blazer. This is the pattern of a two-piece sleeve. If you want to know how to create this pattern, I have a link directly below this video where you can see how you can create the pattern for your two-piece sleeve. This is the best sleeve you can use for your blazer and for your suit. So first of all, I have cut the material and the lining together. This here is my material, 2 sets of it, and this here is my lining. So I want you to note that the material and the lining are not cut together. They're not the same size. The lining is normally about 1 cm, 1 cm or 1.5 cm shorter than the main material. And again, once you cut it, remember to put your markings for the front side, because as you can see that the front side is curved. It's very important so you know how to join the under part of the sleeve to the upper part of the sleeve. This is the under part of the sleeve, and this is the front part. This is the front part of the under part of the sleeve. You also mark it on the material so that you know when you're joining it together, you will not make a mistake. Also remember to draw your grain line on the under part of the sleeve and also on the upper part of the sleeve. This will guide you when you're joining your sleeve to your suit or your blazer. Now, the best way to join it is to first join the front to the front. That is, you pick it up like so, place it like that, and then you sew from here to the end. After doing that, you now turn it like this and sew from here to here. And when you do that, when you're joining the lining, when you're joining your lining, you will not sew this end complete. On the lining, one hand of the lining, you're going to keep a space of about 20 cm. Need you to see it. When you're joining your lining on the front end, you keep a space of about 20 cm. This is the space that will bring out our garments. Will bring out our garments. When we reach there, you understand. But remember to keep this space, or else you have a challenge. Give a space of about 20 to 22 cm. That means you sew from here down to here. You leave it, leave this space, sew from here down to here, only on the lining and only on one of the sleeves. On the lining and only on one of the sleeves. So we'll quickly do that and get our sleeves ready. So now I've joined the under part of the sleeve and the upper part of the sleeve together. This is the curved end. That is the front part of the sleeve. As you can see, as I said, the lining is shorter than the main fabric. The next thing we are going to do, you're going to join the lining to the main fabric at the bottom. We're going to be sewing this right now. I'll take this to the machine and just run a stitch from the end to the other end of the sleeve. I've sewn the hand, I've sewn the lining together. So this is what your suit sleeve should be looking like. Now remember the opening I said on one part of the sleeve, about 20 to 25 cm opening. You have to leave it because without this, you cannot bring out your garments. So I can't emphasize it enough. Remember to leave this opening. Now we are going to join this to this, but not like that. This is what you're going to do. You're going to open this, take your lining, like so, and then we are going to join like so. Make sure that the lines are together, especially at the edge here, the hand. So we are going to sew from there. Sew right down onto the lining, sew right down to the end. I finished sewing the sleeve, as you can see, all the way down from the lining, all the way down to the main fabric. So what you do now is just put your hand in here and then pull out the lining. And the sleeve, your sleeve is ready. That is your sleeve. That is your sleeve. So you can see the curved end of it. So that this end of it is what is going to be facing the front part of your suit when you're fixing your sleeve onto the suit or the blazer. So we'll go ahead and iron this down and then we'll fix our sleeve to our blazer. Now the sleeves are ready to be joined to the suit. But before we join this sleeve to this suit, the very first thing you need to do is to label it. Label this, that this hand goes to this hand. So what I did was to just label it with my, as you can see, with my tailor's chalk right there. And also label the sleeve with my tailor's chalk right there. It's very important because when you turn the material wrong side out, it might be a little bit difficult to know which arm goes to which arm. So this is the simplest way for you to be able to do that. Now, once you have done that, you need to measure the circumference and ensure that the circumference and this circumference is almost the same. It can be 1 or 1.5 centimeters more. This can be 1 or 1.5 centimeters more. It is okay for the ease, but it shouldn't be too far away so that everything will enter well when we are ready to fix our sleeve. Another thing you need is a kind of a hard stay. This is what it looks like. It's thick. This is what it looks like. I have this in my shop. I have the link below if you want to buy it. So you need a kind of hard stay for the cup of the sleeve. This is the way I cut it. This is the cup of the sleeve. So just cut it in between, like so. That is it. Because we're going to need it to be able to emphasize the head of the sleeve when we are joining our sleeve to this shoulder end of our blazer. The next thing we need to do is to turn the material wrong side out. We turn our material wrong side out. Our material is wrong side out. This is the sleeve opening for the lining, and that is the sleeve opening for the material. So the next thing is to turn also the hand wrong side out. Now both material and sleeve are wrong side out. So remember our label that we labeled here on the sleeve, and we also labeled here on the sleeve opening of our blazer. So what you're going to do, you're going to look for this green line that we marked. Remember that green line we marked here? And you're going to align it to the shoulder end of this material. This shoulder end, you're going to align it with the green line there, like so. And then you're going to pin the sleeve all round, step by step, round. So I've pinned it all round, as you can see so, all round. And then you pick up the lining part of the arm, the lining part of the same arm, and get the armhole of the lining and do the same thing and pin it all round. I've joined the sleeve. I've joined the sleeve for the lining, and I've joined the sleeve for the material. Now, if you can see, I have pinned my thick fleece just on one half at the head of the sleeve of the material. Not the whole sleeve, just at the head. So that's why I'll do it the same thing on the other side. So you just fold it and pin it, and ensure that you pin it where you have your seam, the seam you use to join the arm to the cloth. Just on the seam, just pin it around there, fold it, and then you're going to run the seam round there. Now, when we are done with that, remember our opening on one arm. Remember this opening that we opened on one arm of the lining, this opening. This is where you're going to bring all your material right side out. So I'm going to run my seam round the thick stair, and then I'll bring the material right side out. So our blazer is finally ready. I've put my sleeves, as you can see. I've put my two sleeves. I've turned it right side out. So this is the final product of our blazer. Very cute. You can decide to wear it closed by putting maybe a button right here. You can put your button here, maybe 2 buttons. Or you could decide to wear it open if you want, and wear something inside. So with this, I have come to the end of this video on sewing a female blazer. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope your blazer turns out as cute as mine did. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you in my next video. Hi guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to do a welt pocket for your female blazer. This is exactly what I'm going to show you how to construct. So without much ado, let's go straight and start. The very first thing we need to do is to cut out 3 sets of material, as you see so. The very first one is your contrast material that you're going to use to create the opening of the welt pocket. And this contrast material is 8 centimeters by 18 centimeters. 8 centimeters by 18 centimeters. And once you cut it out, you're going to iron on a fusible fleece, a hard one, on top of it. This is what the fleece looks like. and it's quite hard. That's what you're going to iron. This is the part, the shiny part is what you iron on the material. This part goes on the material. So once you've done that, you also cut out the fusible fleece, the same size with this one. That is 8 by 19 cm. And then you cut out your material, the material of your blazer. This is the material that I'm using for my blazer. And you cut out 18 cm by 33 cm. I repeat, 18 cm centimeters by 33 centimeters. And those are the products that you really need to make this welt. Now get the contrast material and your fusible fleece, and then you're going to fold it. Fold it. This is to get the center point for the width and the center point for the length. Just fold it like so. And you do same for the contrast material. Now, once you have the center point, we're going to draw a line, 14 centimeter line. And because it's 14 centimeters, we're going to put 7 at the center here, placing it at the center that you've drawn. And then we're going to draw the 14 centimeter line. We're going to do same for the fusible fleece. So once you've done that, then we are going to draw a 2 centimeter line. Place your tape such that the line is in between the 2 centimeters. Hope you're seeing what I'm doing. Our line is in between the 2 centimeters, so we just draw it so that we have 1 centimeter on each side. So this is what you have at the end of the day. After drawing the 2 centimeter line, or a little bit 0.07 or so, 0.08 inches in between, you just join the lines together and join the lines together, and this is what you have on your contrast material and on your fusible fleece. The next thing is to get your blazer front piece. As I said initially, if you want to know how I eventually sewed up this blazer, you could check a link below this video to show you how I cut the blazer and how I sewed the blazer. Now you take your blazer piece, this is the front part of it, and you're going to measure your shoulder to your waist level, and then add 2 centimeters. That's a little bit lower than 1 inch. 2 centimeters point. It is at this 2 centimeters point that I'm also going to draw a 14 centimeter line, like so, as you can see, 14 centimeter line. I'm going to do the same on the front parts of the blazer. I also measure 46 centimeters because my shoulder to waist is 44 centimeters. I added 2 centimeters to give me 46 centimeters. And that's exactly where I'm also going to draw a 14 centimeter line. And try to put the 7 in between your princess cut. That is my center point, in between my princess cut. And then, so that I'll have 7 centimeters on both sides of the princess cut. Like so. Good. Next, we get hold of our fusible fleece, and then we're going to iron this shiny part on the same line where we drew the 14 cm. Make sure that this line aligns with this line. So ensure that it is the same, and then we are going to iron it on the part of the blazer. So that's exactly what I'm going to. I'm going to iron it down. Once you're done with ironing the fleece on the back part of your blazer, you now turn to the front. And then we're going to take the contrast material, and then we're also going to place it on the same line, ensuring that the center line is in line with this line we drew. So just place it and make sure it is the same line with the center line. And then we are going to go ahead and we're going to run our machine stitch in this rectangle, just this rectangle, not the center one. Here, 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 and here. I've run my stitches round the rectangle. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to get the scissors and I'm going to cut through this line. I'm going to cut through this line like so, and cut here, cut here, cut here, cut here. After cutting through, this is what you're supposed to have. This is what it looks like. Cut through, and this little triangle right here, and little triangle right here. When you're doing this for the first time, try not to cut through your seam. Be very careful. Sometimes if you're doing it the first time, it's good to use a thread you can see, maybe a white thread, so that you see it very well. You see the thread, so that you don't cut into your seam. So you have this rectangular cut, small rectangular here and small rectangular here, and it's open back and front. So what we are going to do now is going to form the mouth of the welt. And what you're going to do is to put this right through this hole, put it inside, turn everything inside, and we are going to iron it down very well. So you go ahead and iron it down very, very well. I've ironed down my pocket, so your pocket should be looking like this for now. Don't worry, we are going to close it up. This is what it should be looking like. So you're going to turn it over. This is the back. And then you get your 33 by 18 piece. Remember the 33 by 18 piece of your material. Now, this is the front part of my material. I'm going to take this front part. This is the 18 inches end of the material. And I'm going to place it like this. I repeat, the 18 cm part of my material, I'll place it at the bottom part of the contrast. And then I'm going to sew from here to here. Please sew just the contrast and the material, not on your blazer piece. Just this and this. And I'm going to run a machine right here. Once you're done with the sewing, this is what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like. So now we are going to cover this piece. So you turn your cloth over, and then you adjust and try to cover half of the space with the contrast material. Ensure that that black doesn't come out. So, and we're also going to try and bring this to cover half of the remaining half of the space. After ironing and pinning down, this is what your bag should be looking like at the back. I've pinned down here and I've pinned it down here. That's the back. And the front should be looking like so. That's your front. That's what it looks like. So what we are going to do now, we are going to sew so that this, our folding will remain in place. And the way to sew this, I need you to watch this very carefully. You turn this up like so. And you're going to use your machine. You're going to sew along this line. Remember, remove this. Please don't sew it under it. Just like this. Put it on your machine like this. And just sew this line, along this line. And once you reach the end, you turn the material like so. And run your machine along this line. When you're done, you turn the full cloth like so. And run your machine again along this line. And then the end like so. And run your machine along this line. And that's it. So after the sewing, you can see your pocket has taken its shape in the front. So what we're going to do next is to actually form the pockets where you can put your hands or put whatever you want to put. This is the back part of your material. And remember, this is our 33 by 18 cm piece. What you're going to do, you're just going to fold it forward like so, and then sew it onto the upper part here. We're going to sew it right here with our machine. And after that, we'll now sew the sides. Please don't sew the sides on your material. Just hold it like so. Like so. And just sew down from here to here. And we're going to do the same from here to here. Once you're done with the sewing on the sides, this is what the back pocket should be looking like. Don't mind me, you can use black thread, but it really doesn't matter because I'm going to use a lining on this blazer. So it won't even be seen. So that's what it will look like at the back. And this is what it will look like in the front. So with this, I've come to the end of this video on how you can create your welt pockets for your blazer. As I said before, I have a link below this video for you to see how I eventually finished this blazer from beginning to end, if you're interested in watching it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any challenges, drop your messages in the comments and I'll get back to you. It might not be perfect the first time, but keep trying it, keep watching the video, and you will get it right. Thank you for watching, and see you next time in my next video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I put together this blazer. Last week, I uploaded a video on how to cut this pattern. And this week, we are going to be seeing how we put together this very beautiful and lovely blazer. So without wasting time, let's go straight and start. Hi guys, welcome to this video on sewing our blazer and our trouser suit. I've already placed my pattern for my blazer on my material, and I've folded this material into two. If you've not watched my video on how to get this blazer pattern, I have the link directly below this video. So the very first thing I want to do is to trace my pattern on my material. That's what I normally do. I'll first trace the pattern all round with the tailor's chalk, because this will guide me on where I will be doing my sewing. So the first thing is to just do all the tracing of my patterns on the material. Please remember, this is the back. This is the back of the material. So when I finish doing this tracing, I will now mark my seam allowance. If you watch my videos, you notice that I don't normally add seam allowances to my patterns. I do the seam allowance directly on the material to show me where I'm going to be cutting. So when I'm done with that, I will now start marking my seam allowance, and my seam allowance is normally 2.5 centimeters. That's about 1 inch. So I'll mark 2.5 centimeters all round, and then I will now trace it all round. I've done my seam allowance all round. This is what it is looking like. So what I'm going to do now is to cut on the seam allowance. I'm going to be cutting on the seam allowance, right round. As I said, this drawing is to guide me when I'm doing the sewing, to know exactly where to sew, because my pattern is to size. So once you've done that, I'm going to cut this out. I also do the same thing for all the other pattern pieces remaining. I've cut out all my pattern pieces. The center front, the side front, the center back, and of course, the side back. For each of the pattern piece, I also cut a lining for it. And once you've cut your lining for it, remember to draw the seam line on your lining and the seam line on your material. This will guide you in knowing exactly where to sew. And once you've done your seam line, like so, remember to transfer your darts, as you've seen me do, on this side front of the blazer. On each of the pattern pieces, you also iron a fusible fleece. This is what I'm talking about. Looks like this. One part of the fleece is rough and the other part is smooth. It is the rough end that you iron on your material, which is what I've done for all the pattern pieces, all of them. That's the material. This is the fusible fleece. This I've done for every single piece of the blazer pattern. The very first thing we are going to do with our sewing machine is, first of all, to close your dart. Your center front dart, you're going to join it with the machine. After doing that, you're going to join the center front and the side front. The center front and the side front. And then we join the two center back pieces together, right here. And then, of course, we join the center back to the side back. Everything I'm going to be joining with the material, I'll do same with the lining. I have joined all the pattern pieces together. This is the back part of the lining for the blazer. And I've done the facing. You can also add your logo or your brand, if you have it, on the facing joined to the back part of the lining. This is the lining. I've joined everything, the side seam to the center seam, and I've ironed it down. Please remember to iron down your seam. It gives you a nice finish at the end of the day. And this here is the back part of the blazer material, which I've also joined all the seams. And I've also ironed it down, as you can see. So that's the back part, and this is the front part. I've joined the seams. I've joined the seams for the front part. This is the front part. And I've also done a welt pocket. I've also done a welt pocket with my contrast material. To see the video for this welt pocket, please click the link below if you want to do a welt pocket for your blazer material. Next thing, we are going to be preparing the blazer lapel. This is the interfacing that I'm going to use for the blazer lapel. And for this interfacing, you're going to fuse it behind with a fusible fleece, the hard one, not the soft one. We use the soft one for the material, but for this lapel, so that it will stand well when you fold it. For this lapel, you're using a hard interfacing on this, just like I did so. And when you're done with that, you're just going to place it like so on the front part of the lining. This is the front part of the lining. You place it like so. And then we quickly sew round here up to this place. And then over here, you just fold it in a little bit, maybe 0.5 of a centimeter. Just fold it in a little bit and also sew it all the way. Fold it in a little bit and sew it all the way down. So that's what we're going to do with the both two pieces of the lining. The next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to be joining the back to the front piece of the blazer with the front parts facing each other. The back to the front piece of the blazer with the front parts facing each other. And you're going to follow your seam allowance and ensure that you're sewing along your seam allowance and along your measurements. So before you even sew, I will advise that you do your measurements again, mark it again before you now run your stitch. You're going to be stitching down here, from here, down here, and you do the same thing on this other side. You'll be stitching from the armhole down to the bottom. This is what our blazer is looking like. I've joined all the sides together. You see what it's looking like. I've joined the neck together. So essentially, I'm going to show you how to join this neck. And I'm going to be using the lining to show you how to do that. So this is the lining. I've already joined it just like I joined the main material. So now I'm going to show you how to join the neck. The first thing is for you to take the front shoulder. This is the front shoulder, front piece of the lining. Take the back piece of the lining and then join the shoulder to the shoulder. I'm going to quickly pin it down. So you're going to be sewing from there. Pin it down. Pin it down. Then take the opposite shoulder and do the same thing. Just pin the two shoulders, the shoulder of the front and the shoulder of the back together. Once you're done with that, the next thing now is for you to pin the neck to the neck. Just look at what I'm doing. The neck to the neck, just like so. And then you do same for this same part of the neck, this part of the neck, and then pin it down like so. Once you've pinned it, this is what it looks like. So you're going to come to the center where the two necks meet, the two materials meet, and you're going to find the center point. That is the center where the sewing was done. So you're going to meet this, hold it like so, and then you're going to sew the two necks together. Like so. You're not going to make a straight seam like this. You're going to sew it in a slanting manner like so. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Sew it first. Once you finish sewing that, you now come and open it up and then sew round up to the shoulder and round up to this shoulder. The next thing we need to do is to prepare a kind of piping. I'm going to put it at the edge of the lapel. This is about 2 centimeters of material that I folded together to form 1 centimeter. And all I did was to add this double-sided tape. I talk about it a lot in my sewing. It's a double-sided tape. I just put it on both ends as it is. And then I'll remove it so that I'll be able to join the two ends together. So once you remove it, see that the two sides are gummy. All you have to do is to just put it together. That's all. Just make sure you put all together, just like I did it the other way. I've already done one part of it. This is what it looks like. So I'll just conclude the second part of it. So this is what my piping looks like. And the length of this piping is the length of the lapel all round. From the breaking point all around your neck up to the second breaking point. That's the full length of this piping. You're going to see why we are going to use it in the next step. So the main cloth is ready. And the pattern and the lining is also ready. So what you are going to do now, you're going to place the lining front side facing front side of the main material. Like so. You're going to make sure that all the seams are together at the bottom. All the seams are together. Ensure that the seams are together because you're going to join the lining to the main fabric. So we're going to join all round. Join all your seams together. So we're going to join all round, all round, all round. Then in between the two, we are going to be putting in our piping. We're going to put in the piping in between the two, like so. All round. The piping and then the lining. So we're going to form a sandwich, like so. All round, and sew it. So I've joined all the lining to the main cloth, and this is what your blazer should be looking like right now. This is what your blazer should be looking like. And the inside, look at the inside. Everything is joined. So the next thing we are going to be doing now is to join the sleeves. So first of all, we need to prepare it. But I hope your blazer is looking like this. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to insert your two-piece sleeve into your suit or your blazer. This is the pattern of a two-piece sleeve. If you want to know how to create this pattern, I have a link directly below this video where you can see how you can create the pattern for your two-piece sleeve. This is the best sleeve you can use for your blazer and for your suit. So first of all, I have cut the material and the lining together. This here is my material, 2 sets of it, and this here is my lining. So I want you to note that the material and the lining are not cut together. They're not the same size. The lining is normally about 1 cm. 1 cm or 1.5 cm shorter than the main material. And again, once you cut it, remember to put your markings for the front side. Because as you can see that the front side is curved. It's very important. So you know how to join the under part of the sleeve to the upper part of the sleeve. This is the under part of the sleeve. And this is the front part. This is the front part of the under part of the sleeve. You also mark it on the material so that you know when you're joining it together, you will not make a mistake. Also remember to draw your grain line on the under part of the sleeve and also on the upper part of the sleeve. This will guide you when you're joining your sleeve to your suit or your blazer. Now, the best way to join it is to first join the front to the front. That is, you pick it up like so, place it like that, and then you sew from here to the end. After doing that, you now turn it like this and sew from here to here. And when you do that, when you're joining the lining, when you're joining your lining, you will not sew this end complete. On the lining, one hand of the lining, you're going to keep a space of about 20 cm. You need to see it. When you're joining your lining on the front end, you keep a space of about 20 cm. This is the space that will bring out our garments. Will bring out our garments. When we reach there, you understand. But remember to keep this space, or else you have a challenge. Give a space of about 20 to 22 cm. That means you sew from here down to here. You leave it, leave this space, sew from here down to here, only on the lining and only on one of the sleeves. On the lining and only on one of the sleeves. So we'll quickly do that and get our sleeves ready. So now I've joined the under part of the sleeve and the upper part of the sleeve together. This is the curved end. That is the front part of the sleeve. As you can see, as I said, the lining is shorter than the main fabric. The next thing we are going to do, you're going to join the lining to the main fabric at the bottom. We're going to be sewing this right now. Take this to the machine and just run a stitch from the end to the other end of the sleeve. I've sewn the lining together. So this is what your suit sleeve should be looking like. Now remember the opening I said on one part of the sleeve, about 20 to 25 cm opening. You have to leave it because without this, you cannot bring out your garments. So I can't emphasize it enough. Remember to leave this opening. Now we are going to join this to this, but not like that. This is what you're going to do. You're going to open this, take your lining, like so, and then we are going to join like so. Make sure that the lines are together, especially at the edge here, the hand. So we are going to sew from there. Sew right down onto the lining, sew right down to the end. I finished sewing the sleeve, as you can see, all the way down from the lining, all the way down to the main fabric. So what you do now, you just put your hand in here and then pull out the lining. And the sleeve, your sleeve is ready. That is your sleeve. That is your sleeve. So you can see the curved end of it. So that this end of it is what is going to be facing the front part of your suit when you're fixing your sleeve onto the suit or the blazer. So we'll go ahead and iron this down and then we'll fix our sleeve to our blazer. Now the sleeves are ready to be joined to the suit. But before we join this sleeve to this suit, the very first thing you need to do is to label it. Label this, that this hand goes to this hand. So what I did was to just label it with my, as you can see, with my tailor's chalk right there. And also label the sleeve with my tailor's chalk right there. It's very important because when you turn the material wrong side out, it might be a little bit difficult to know which arm goes to which arm. So this is the simplest way for you to be able to do that. Now, once you have done that, you need to measure the circumference and ensure that the circumference and this circumference is almost the same. It can be 1 or 1.5 centimeters more. This can be 1 or 1.5 centimeters more. It is okay for the ease, but it shouldn't be too far away so that everything will enter well when we are ready to fix our sleeve. Another thing you need is a kind of a hard stay. This is what it looks like. It's thick. This is what it looks like. I have this in my shop. I have the link below if you want to buy it. So you need a kind of hard stay for the cup of the sleeve. This is the way I cut it. This is the cup of the sleeve. So just cut it in between, like so. That is it. Because we're going to need it to be able to emphasize the head of the sleeve when we are joining our sleeve to this shoulder end of our blazer. The next thing we need to do is to turn the material wrong side out. We turn our material wrong side out. Our material is wrong side out. This is the sleeve opening for the lining, and that is the sleeve opening for the material. So the next thing is to turn also the hand wrong side out. Now both material and sleeve are wrong side out. So remember our label that we labeled here on the sleeve, and we also labeled here on the sleeve opening of our blazer. So what you're going to do, you're going to look for this green line that we marked. Remember that green line we marked here? And you're going to align it to the shoulder end of this material. This shoulder end, you're going to align it with the green line there, like so. And then you're going to pin the sleeve all round, step by step, round. So I've pinned it all round, as you can see, so all round. And then you pick up the lining part of the arm, the lining part of the same arm, and get the armhole of the lining and do the same thing and pin it all round. I've joined the sleeve. I've joined the sleeve for the lining, and I've joined the sleeve for the material. Now, if you can see, I have pinned my thick fleece just on one half at the head of the sleeve of the material. Not the whole sleeve, just at the head. So that's why I'll do the same thing on the other side. So you just fold it and pin it, and ensure that you pin it where you have your seam, the seam you use to join the arm to the cloth. Just on the seam, just pin it around there, fold it, and then you're going to run the seam round there. Now when we are done with that, remember our opening on one arm. Remember this opening that we opened on one arm of the lining, this opening. This is where you're going to bring all your material right side out. So I'm going to run my seam round the thick stair, and then I'll bring the material right side out. So our blazer is finally ready. I've put my sleeves, as you can see. I've put my two sleeves. I've turned it right side out. So this is the final product of our blazer. Very cute. You can decide to wear it closed by putting maybe a button right here. You can put your button here, maybe 2 buttons. Or you could decide to wear it open if you want, and wear something inside. So with this, I have come to the end of this video on sewing a female blazer. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope your blazer turns out as cute as mine did. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you in my next video. Hi guys, my name is Honorita James. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to create a simple custom pattern using a simple to use online software called Telenova. Pattern drafting is quite interesting, but it can be very, very intimidating for a beginner. I have had a few videos on my website on how Telenova works, and I'm going to put the link right there on how you can register for free and how you can test it to see how easy it is you can use to create your patterns. You don't need to do any kind of calculations. You don't need to stress yourself on too much measurements and all that. All you need is to just get in there, create the pattern that you want, download it, put it on your dress, and cut it. So let's go create a simple blouse pattern using this simple online pattern making software called Telenova. This is my account on Telenova. I have a video where I show you how you can open an account with Telenova. It's very easy. All you need is your email address and your name. And once you're done with that and you click the link they send to your email, you're good to go. So once you're in this account, you go to where you have your name and you click on this 3D fit model. Now the 3D fit model is the measurement you've already put in for yourself or whomever you want to make this design for. I have 2 designs already. On a free plan, you can put 3 different designs on a free plan. And then you can create whatever pattern you want to create based on these measurements that you put in. For now, I'm going to use this particular model. So I'll just go there and click Use Model. And then it will open up for me this page. I don't need the video. If you want to watch it, you're free to watch it, but I don't need to watch it. So once you have this page now, you now go straight here to design, where we are going to choose a new design. So we are going to make a simple blouse. This is what the blouse looks like. If I click on this blouse, whatever pattern I'm going to see is a pattern for this blouse, this top. But I'll show you how you can do changes to this, changes to the neck, changes to the sleeves. I'm going to show you how to do that since we are creating a simple blouse. As you can see, you can create other things. You can create a skirt, trouser, jumpsuit, and dresses. So it depends on you. You can also do menswear. Let me just go ahead and show it to you. You can also do menswear. You can do shirts, you can do t-shirts, you can do pants. But today we are creating a simple custom blouse pattern, a made-to-measure blouse pattern for yourself. So you just click that and then you go to Let's Get Started. So if you don't want to do anything, this is the pattern. All you have to do is to click here and then you click on download and it downloads your patterns for you. But let's say you don't like the sleeves as it is, you want another sleeve, you want another neck, you want to have some darts. That is what I'm going to show you how to do. So the very first thing you need to do, let's go change our sleeves. Let's say you go here and you say you want to add a sleeve to this your pattern. If you notice here, there are 2 sections that has come out. The technical sketch that shows you exactly what the dress looks like, both front and back. If you want, you can click the front. It will show you the front of how the front is going to look like. You click the back of how the back of the dress is going to look like. You click both. It shows you the 2, the front and the back. And it shows you here how your patterns are going to be distributed. When you print it out, how you're going to place them together. This is what your pattern is going to look like. As you can see, it's quite easy. It's so easy. On the free plan of Telenova, you can only do 2 clothes. Either you do 2 blouses, or you do 2 dresses, or you do a blouse, 1 blouse, and you do 1 shirt. Just 2 patterns that you have free. That is what you can do with this. So now, let's see. Let's change our sleeve. You have about 44 sleeves here. So it depends on you. You can decide. Let's say I want to have a sleeve that is very full flat sleeve. If I click on that, let's see what happens. You see, the style is different. This is your sleeve, this is your pattern, this is how your pattern is going to look like, this is how your dress is going to look like. It's as easy as that. So whatever sleeve you want, you can go ahead and click and try it and see exactly what it looks like. Now let's say we don't like this neck as round as it is, we want to change it. So let's go here to the neck, and then you could choose here for any kind of neck that you want, that you like. Let me see, I think I like this one. So if I click this one now, it's going to change the way the neck of my blouse is going to look. So it has changed, as you can see. This is how my blouse is going to look. Then you can go to the back neck. If you want to change the back neck to look exactly like that, or you want it to be something like this, let's change it to something. This looks nice, something like that. So you see, that is how the back of your blouse is going to look like. You're beginning to see that it's so easy. You don't have any stress. So this is your pattern for your blouse. So let's say you want this blouse to be not so short, maybe a little bit longer. Then let's go to the silhouette. Once you go to the silhouette, it now tells you variations that you can do, different kinds of things that you can do. You can now put in, okay, what kind of fabric do you want to use and make this blouse? You want to use woven fabric or you want to use knit? Now this, anyone you choose will affect the way the pattern is. So you need to know what kind of material are you going to use. If you do not know what is woven materials or knit materials, I have a full video where I discuss different kinds of materials and what they look like and what they are. I'll link the video so that you can go ahead and look at it and see what this means. So let's say we take woven material and we go to variations. You know, what kind of darts do you want? Do you want a bust dart? Do you want a mid-armhole or waist dart? What kind of darts? So me, I normally like bust and waist dart, so I can click that. And once I click the bust and waist, I click on apply, and it will apply to it. So now it has shown you different kinds of bust and waist dart. So it's left for us now to choose which one do we want here now. Which one do we want? So let me see. I think I like. Let me take this one. So once I click on that one, you'll see that it has changed my pattern exactly to the one that I clicked. So what of the length of the blouse? How long do I want my blouse to be? Just click here on the length. Do I want it to be mid-rib, that is at my just at my waist? Do I want it to be above my high hip, or do I want it to be at my high hip? I want it to be at my high hip. So I can click here and then I will apply. So this is the different kinds. So I will just go here and I will choose. Which one will I choose? Let me choose this one. I think I like this one. Choose this one. So that is how it's going to look. That's how my blouse is going to look. So I'm satisfied with the way it looks. This is my pattern for my blouse. These are the facings for the front neck, the facing for the back, you know. So this is how my patterns are going to come out. And if you notice here, this is the 3D I chose. This is the particular measurement I chose. If you don't know how to enter measurements on Telonova, I have a full video showing you step by step how you can enter your measurements on Telonova. So this is my blouse. I like it the way it is. Now, the next thing that I want to show you now is what kind of fabric are you going to use? If you click on fabric, it shows you different kinds of fabric. But you find out that you can actually upload the fabric you want to use. Just make a picture of your fabric and then click on my fabric. And then there's no element here because I've not uploaded anything. But if you click down here, you can click on upload fabric, and then you can give a fabric name to your fabric. And then what kind of fabric is it? Is it woven? Is it knit? You now click it there, and then you can upload your fabric. It's as easy as that. It's not so difficult. The reason that this is nice is that it can actually show you how your blouse will look like. Finished blouse would look like on that fabric. But let's go ahead and just let me show you how that is done if you have your fabric already uploaded. Let's say I want to use this flowery fabric on the dress. It actually shows you this is how the dress will look like if you're using this. So all you have to do is just keep testing the kind of fabric you want to use. You can always go and look for that kind of fabric if it looks nice and beautiful. I always love this. Let's see this. So that's, oh, it's so cute. Or this. Or even this. No, I don't like that one. I think I prefer, let's see. Let's look at this one. I think it looks better with a flowery fabric. Looks nice because of the flayed hand. So you can see how easy it is. Once you're done and you're okay with everything, all you have to do is go here and then click download. I cannot download because I've already done 2 patterns with this on a free subscription. So that's how easy it is. And once you download this, parcel it together. I have a video where I show you how to download these patterns on a dress. I made a dress and how you can put them together. It's very simple. It's really simple. So remember to give your design a name so that if you want to come back later, maybe you're not ready to print it out. If you want to come back later, you'll be able to find it. So I've given this, my design, a name. So that is all there is to it. As I said, you want to download your patterns, just go here and then download it. I can't download because I already passed, I've only used it for 2 patterns, as I've said initially. So that is how easy it is to actually create a simple custom fit made to measure blouse using our simple online dress pattern making software called Nova. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can see how simple it is. And as long as you remember to save your pattern, even if you are not ready to subscribe on it, subscribe for Nova. Maybe later you want to subscribe, you can get back to that, your pattern, and just download it. A disclaimer here, I'm not working for Nova. They're not paying me to do this. I just discovered it. I've used it 2 times and it's wonderful. Very simple, very easy, and it saves a lot of time. So thank you so much for watching this video. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about how you can see a fashion or a dress online and how you can just copy that style using Nova and make the dress for yourself, especially if you don't want to buy it or maybe it's too expensive. You can just see how you can replicate that style and make the dress for yourself. So stay tuned for my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Hi guys, welcome to today's video. In today's video, I am going to be showing you how to create a custom fit jumpsuit pattern using a very easy to use online pattern making software called Nova. Disclaimer, I am not working for Nova. They are not paying me to do this video. I have just used it. I discovered it online. I've used it and I've seen that it is very simple to use. It removes a lot of stress when it comes to pattern drafting. If you're somebody that just wants to make a dress for yourself, you know, without all the hassles of measurements and all that, this is a software to use. This is a dress pattern drafting software that is easy to use and you can use and make a dress for yourself. Let's say you see a nice style online, a jumpsuit, and you want to make it for yourself. You don't want to buy it, you just want to make that kind of style for yourself. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do that style using Tailor Nova. So let's go straight to my computer and let me show you step by step how you can effortlessly create a custom made to fit jumpsuit pattern for yourself. So I saw this jumpsuit online and I like it. And I decided to see if I can create the pattern using Tailor Nova so that I can make it for myself. And I'm going to show you exactly how I created this pattern using Tailor Nova. Now all you need to see is that it has a round neck, as you can see, and it has bishop sleeves. But here, the risk here is a little bit longer than a normal bishop sleeve, which is quite something. Is that it's easy and you can do it. And if you can see, the trouser is not straight, it's not narrow, it's a little bit it's not flared either, but a little bit straight, but it's not too close. So that is all the information I need. So let us go over to Tailor Nova and see how we can create this wonderful jump suit. So here's my Tailor Nova account. As you can see, I'm in my account. I'll go here, click on my name, and I'll go to 3D Fit Model. That is to get the exact measurement I want to use for this particular style. So I'm going to be using this particular model to do this style. To get to this page, just get to Design, go to New. Click on New Design, and here you can pick your jumpsuit. Just click on that and then go to Let's Get Started. Let me remove this. So we have our jumpsuit, as you can see here already. So what we need to do is to change the neck and then add the bishop sleeves. You can see how easy it is using Tailor Nova to get what you want. If you look at what we are making, you see that the sleeve is just round, it's up, and then it has a bishop sleeve. The trouser, as you can see, is exactly the way this one is. It's fitted at the waist. So let's go to sleeves. Then once you click on sleeves, it's going to open up and show you a lot of sleeves. You can see all the sleeves that Tailor Nova has. And if you scroll down, you see all the sleeves that you need. You just be looking at it and looking for the one that you want. We are looking for bishop sleeves. And this is elbow bishop, this is 3/4 bishop, this is full bishop sleeves. As you can see, that is a full bishop sleeve. So we'll click on that one, and then you see that your pattern and even your technical sketch is going to change and so show you the full bishop sleeve. So you see that we have our full bishop sleeve already. As I said, this here is so short, but if you look at the pattern, you can make it as long as you want. Instead of making it this short, once you cut the pattern, just make it as long as you want when you're cutting it on your material to be able to get this long part of the sleeves. So that is all there is to it. And then look at the neck. Let's change the neck. Just go here to necklines. So you can scroll and look for the neckline. For me, this is the nearest I can get to the neck. So I'll just click on this. That's the nearest neck that I think is similar to that neck line. And that is it. This is our dress. That is our dress. If you look at it there, everything is there. your facing is there. So let's say you want to see how it looks like. I can go here and look for the fabric. Once you click on fabric at the lower left bottom part of the page, it takes you to this page, and here you can go to my fabric, where you can upload the fabric you want to use. That's the fabric I want to use. I already uploaded it, but let me show you how to do that. You can just go right down to the left bottom. Sorry, it's not showing on my video, but once you're on this page, you go right down to the left bottom. You see where you can click upload. And once you click it, any fabric type, give it a name. Let me just give it a lacy fabric, lacy jumpsuit fabric. So I'll just upload the image from my computer. I already have it on my computer. Let me see. This is where I have it here. I can click that and I can open it. And that is where it is right there. And I can just click here, upload fabric, and once it's uploaded, you will see it here. So all you have to do is to click it and see what the dress would look like using this fabric. This is what it looks like. If you click this one, it will also show you what the dress looks like using this fabric. And this is your patterns where you can actually download your jumpsuit. So as you can see, there's not much difference between this and this. That is the jumpsuit. And this here is the pattern that you can download and make it for yourself. So it depends on you. Once you're downloading it, you know that the top part, see the top part here, you can use that for your lacy material that you bought. The top part of the pattern, when you're cutting the pattern, you use this top part pattern and use this material to draft it. As you can see, because the top part is the lacy part, you use it to draft it. You use the plain material to do the neck. If you don't like this neck, you can always change your neck. It must not be exactly the way it is. If you don't like it, you can always change it. There are a lot of neck styles you can do. If you don't like the dress, or maybe you want a neck that is different from that one, you just get to this place, click on jumpsuit, and then it shows you different kinds of things you can do, like body type. If you click there, you can change your sleeves, you can change it to straps, you can change it to tank tops, Reagan sleeves, you can do everything. You can do an off shoulder and everything. Any one that you click, it will just change it for you. Let's say we want a drop shoulder. We don't want it to be like this. If you click on drop shoulder and you click on apply, the changes will immediately apply to your patterns. So all you have to do, these are drop shoulders. Just click any one that you want so that it can apply to your patterns, and you have it. These are drop shoulders. This is this one here. Let me see. If I click this here, it will remove this and show this as the pattern. You can see here. Even when you click here, like for pants length, how long do you want your pants length to be? A lot of things for you to choose from here. A lot. If you click here, style, is it a straight leg you want? Is it tapered leg? Is it wide leg? Is it flayed leg? Is it a palazzo? So you have all the anything you want to do with this, your jumpsuit, you can do it. But in this video, I just wanted to show you how simple it is for you to see a nice style online. Come here, create a pattern for it using Telenova. Download your patterns. Once they are done like this, you just go here, you download your patterns, put it on your table, put your materials, and then cut it, and you're good to go. How did you find that? You see how easy it is to actually create a custom fit made to measure jumpsuit pattern from a simple style that you see online. You can just create your pattern and make your dress. And the important thing is that once you download your patterns, Telenova shows you step by step how to sew it. It comes with the download. You read it, how to sew it and everything. I have a full video where I actually made a dress, downloaded it, showed you how to put the pieces together, showed you where you can read how to join everything together. That is how simple it is. You know me, I love simple things, and I always want to let people know how they can make their sewing life easier. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in my next video. Hi guys, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a DIY 6-piece long skirt and a simple top using an online pattern making software called Tailor Nova. And this is going to take just about 10 minutes to get those patterns ready. My name is Honorita James. Welcome to my channel, where I introduce you to online pattern making softwares, especially for the beginner. I only talk about pattern making softwares that are easy to use and most times also free. So today we're going to be doing a 6-piece skirt pattern. It's a DIY skirt pattern, and we're going to be using an online pattern making software called Tailor Nova. If you don't know what Tailor Nova is, I will link a video right there where I explained what Tailor Nova is, and I also explained how you can register and how you can start using it. I am not working for Tailor Nova. I discovered this pattern making software online, and it's quite easy to use, and it saves a lot of time. So let's go straight to my computer and let's create a 6-piece skirt and a simple blouse pattern using Tailor Nova. So this is my account in Tailor Nova. So once you get to your account, go to where you have your name, click it, go to 3D Fit Models, and then it will show you all the models that you have with your different sizes. As for me, I have 2 models here with 2 different sizes. So the first thing you need to do is, of course, choose the model size that you want to create your 6-piece skirt. So here we are in this particular section. Some of you watching this may be wondering, how do you create a 3D fit model? To create a 3D fit model in Tailor Nova, I have a full video showing you how to upload your measurements. Once you upload your measurements, that is your first 3D fit model. So once you upload your measurement and you tick that this is the default measurement you're going to be using to make all your designs. I cannot explain that fully in this video. This video is just to show you how to create a 6-piece skirt. But if you want to know how to upload your measurements, which is the #1 thing you need to do when you start using Tailor Nova, I have a video I will link right there where I explained how to upload your measurements and create your 3D fit model. For a free account, you can have 3 different sizes uploaded. Maybe you can have size 12, size 16, and size 18. It depends on you. It depends on who you're sewing for and all that. So you can have 3 different sizes for a free Tailor Nova account. Now, when you get to this section, you go to Design, you click on New, click again on New Design, and then since we are creating a 6-piece skirt, we click on Skirt, and then we click on Let's Start. Now let's get this out of the way. If you want to listen to the video, you're free to listen to it to be able to know how to get all these things done. So once you're here, remember we are creating a 6-piece skirt, so we'll get to this section. to be able to get to choose our 6-piece skirt. Once you get here, you can actually scroll down to look for the skirt you want, or we just go to here, length, and we want an ankle length skirt. Click on apply, and then it's going to come up with all the ankle length skirts, and then we can choose our 6-piece skirt from the pictures it's going to give to us. These are all the long skirts that Telonova, all the long skirt patterns that Telonova software has. So you can see them here. So we are looking for a 6-piece, and this is our ankle length 6-piece, and we are going to choose that as our skirt. It's as simple as that. Very simple. So this is the technical sketch of how your skirt is going to look like. But we don't want our front and back to be plain. We need our back to have a zip. So what we will do, we just go here, click on back closure, so that we'll be able to pick our zip. If we want a long zip, if we want a short zip. You can now choose how you want the zip at the back of the skirt to be like, and I want the zip to be this short. And so you see, now our back skirt has a zip. If you go here to the back to look at it very well, this is our back skirt. That is the pattern. And this is your pattern. That's all it is. It's finished. You've created your 6-piece skirt pattern. Now, if you want to see how this looks like with the material that you want to use, you can just quickly go here to where you have fabrics. These are the fabrics that you can choose from. Telonova has close to 245 fabrics that you can choose from. So if you have the fabric already, you want to sew your skirt, you can just click any of them to see what it will look like, picture-wise. So let's say I want to use this kind of fabric. This is how my skirt is going to look like, back and front. That's how it will look like. So in case you already have your fabric, you can always upload your fabric from here, and also check. I have one fabric I uploaded in my other video, and also check what it will look like with that fabric. So all you have to do is to go here, upload new fabric, and it's as simple as that. When you click on this, you put your fabric name, and then click here to upload your fabric. It's quite as easy as that. So that's all there is to the skirt. So let's now create a blouse that will go with the skirt. So for the top, it's essentially the same process. Once you get to this section, instead of clicking on skirt, you just go straight to tops and then create to let's get started. Once you get here, just go to silhouette so that we'll be able to choose the kind of blouse we want. Here you have the ability to choose and create whatever variation, whatever front style you want, whatever length you want. I have a full video on how to actually create a blouse, a video on itself. So that's why I'm not going to go to too much details. So here you choose your fabric type, woven, that's what I'm going to use. Click on apply, go to variation. What kind of darts do you want? I normally love bust and waist darts. Click on that, click on apply, and then how fitted. Yes, I want it to be fitted. Click on apply, and what else? Body type, strap. No, I don't want that. Length. How long do I want my top to be? Most times with flare skirts, I always like high hip with if I'm doing a 6-piece. So I click on high hip and I click on cropped and I apply. Then what I will do now, I will go to let me see. Once you have gotten your variables, then you just scroll down and choose whichever one that you want. You want something with buttons, you want something with your dots like that and everything. Once you put all these your variables, just choose one. I don't want buttons, so I'll just choose, let's see, I think I like this one. I'll just choose this one. So that it will now create, so it has created my patterns for that particular one. So all we need now is to put our sleeves and then the back part. If we want a zip, we just put the back closure. To get the back part, just click here and then you can get a zip. If you want a midi zip or you want a full zip, I normally like a full zip, so I'll just click on that one for my back, the back of my top. And then I think the last thing is the sleeves. Just go to the sleeves and then choose the kind of sleeves that you want. So I like this particular sleeve, so I'll just choose this sleeve for my top. And that is my top. So all we have to do now is give a title to your design so that you can save it in case you want to subscribe to Telenova later. You have all your designs that you can download your patterns. And of course, we are going to also use the same fabric that we used for the skirt. So you just scroll down and look for the fabric, and then we are going to use that particular fabric. So you want to use this particular one, that's the one we use for the skirt. So just click on it and that is our blouse. When you're ready to download, you get to this particular section, you click on it, and then you can download it as a PDF. If you don't know how to put your patterns together, I have a video that I'll link right here where you can put, showing you how you can put your patterns together. It's quite easy, and the good thing about Telenova is that they actually give you instructions on how you can sew your pattern pieces together. As you can see, I've labeled my pattern so that next time it will be easy for me to find. So now you've created a 6-piece, DIY 6-piece long skirt pattern using Telenova software. So this is how your skirt looks like, and this is how your top looks like. So all you have to do is to download your pattern, put it together, put it on your material, and then you have your beautiful top and your beautiful skirt. With this, I've come to the end of this video. I didn't want it to be so long, but it's still longer than what I thought. So I hope you now go and try your hands on Telenova. It is very easy to use. So try your hands, drop your comments, and see you in my next video. Hi guys.